Tomaszewski surname in Ukraine.
And we are live. All right, good evening, folks here in Phoenix and live on the internet. This is Bob Wen, and I am speaking to you as part of the Phoenix ACE, Atlassian Community Events. We are holding an event here right now on the eve of Team with Yuri, Kudyn, and Filip right here from Release Management Apps. They're going to talk about their trials and tribulations when they created their first Rovo agent. And so I am going to give the microphone here to Filip, and away we go.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you for coming and thank you for joining. And today we would like to share our experience with building a Rovo agent. And also we collected some lessons learned. And while we were coming here, so like Atlassian fixed half of the problems, which we wanted to speak about today. And we also added a few more slides about what Rovo is and how we are using Rovo inside our organization and how you could be able to use it in your use case, because we see that Rovo is not fully used in a lot of cases. So that in this presentation, we would like to summarize how Rovo could be used and not only tell about capabilities, but also share some real use cases which we're using inside the release management, and also tell about our experience in building Rovo agents, what problems we had and how we solve it in real life. But before move, let's meet each other. So my name is Yuri. I'm a co-founder of Release Management Apps. We founded our company in 2018, and we are building release management applications. Like for release management for big companies, like it's very easy. So like, yeah. Easy to remember. We have 6 different applications at this stage, and also we are proud that we won several Partner of the Year awards for 2 of them last and before last years. And yeah, you can see that we just like proudly getting this awards at this stage. I think it's in Las Vegas or maybe in Anaheim, but yeah, I think it was in Las Vegas. And yeah, Filip, maybe a few words about.
So my name is Filip, and I'm part of release management team, and I am responsible for partnership management. So yeah, taking care of our partners. Yeah. So maybe this is like a very curious question. Who use AI LLM? Like before the presentation, we thought maybe to rephrase it, who does not use AI LLM? So probably you recognize some of the models. Probably I assume most of you using some of them. Like at least once you tried one of them. I think that most of the people try more than one. So definitely one of the interesting parts is that now in Atlassian we have this Rovo. It's like one of the LLM models, which probably has something, one of these other LLMs behind it, but definitely we think that maybe in the future Atlassian will bring some their own LLM model, but now it's called Rovo. It has something behind their hood. So it's like very widespread, and if we can just go to the another slide. So what Rovo brings is like it brings AI-powered search, knowledge, automation to every Atlassian team. It's all right to every really Atlassian to whole ecosystem. So from finding answers instantly across like Jira, Confluence, and like other tools like Slack, Google Drive, so maybe external tools. It's also it's automate repetitive tasks and helps to triage the tickets and page summary. So there's a lot of things that Rovo can do. It's like an intelligent layer behind like working for the entire organization. So I would say that if you just like thinking of how the Rovo could be used, it's like quite numerous, let's say, examples. I don't know, a few of them will be like engineering teams use it for query runbooks and generate docs. Product teams surface insights from backlogs and customer feedback. HR and like operation teams onboard new hires much faster. And of course, by making this company knowledge more accessible. And I don't know, knowledge managers can easily keep Confluence accurate with thanks to the Rovo flagging stale content, for example, automatically.
Yeah, but maybe you can just like evaluate in more details, how it could be used, and let's also check if you're using it at full extent. So first use case is a chat. Everybody using is a chat. Everybody who is in this audience, like, can you just raise a hand who using Rovo as a chat? It's very simple, But what I would like to tell that you may try to use Rovo for some a bit more unusual cases. Do not ask only some simple things. I would like to give you a few more examples. Like, for instance, if you take some work item, so you can ask Rovo what is wrong with this work item. So it can analyze cycle time, it can analyze returns, it can analyze some problems with reassignment, and do not like ask some simple things. Let's try to do more in-depth analysis, because Rovo is integrated with Jira data. So if you know like some typical dysfunction in your team, if you're using Scrum, you know Scrum dysfunction. If you're using Kanban, you know Kanban dysfunction. And you can tell, okay, what is cycle time? What is lead time? How long this work item was in block status? You don't need to calculate it manually. So you can ask Rovo, and Rovo will tell you what is wrong with this work item. You don't need to investigate yourself. You don't need to list all the history items. So you can check it immediately with Rovo. And even more, Rovo can make some automation rule automatically without your involvement. You can just relax in jacuzzi, like drink mojito, and Rovo will create automation rule which will be checking this dysfunction in automated way. So then do not use it only as a chat. Try to think how you can use the data which is currently available in Jira in order to get some more deeper result. And we are using it in our organization in absolutely the same way. When we don't want to investigate data in details, we are asking Rovo to do so, because Rovo can read all the data very easily.
Yeah, so also we can consider, I'll be more generalist here. So we can consider Rovo and agents also in some other perspectives, especially like an important one is like Atlassian collections. So this is like a way to utilize the best. I mean, collections are just like a set of tools instead of like packages of tools or like apps, like how Atlassian now calls their products, instead of like considering them as like individual products. So having like the collections is like help to make teams work more like the product, I would say, first than like just working in silos. So definitely also here, agents are very important, because you can see that for specific collections you will have, you can create or you can have like agents will also transform your work, how your teams work within the specific Atlassian collection. So
sorry, just wanted to add is that all the agents already predefined it in scope of collections, and Atlassian is selling all offering in terminology of collections. So that now collections is a way of Atlassian go to market. So, and you can explore what agents already available. You don't need to create it themselves; they are available, and what is the most important, they are free. You don't need to pay for some other external LLM for this, because LLM is already embedded, and under the hood there is the same Claude, there is the same ChatGPT, so like which we're buying separately, but it's already included. Why we should not use it? If we are happy with Claude, why we should not be happy with Rovo, right? The same with ChatGPT.
So like also very important is like Rovo is widely embedded in the UI, which is like a great, because for example, you can use it for, as you can see, I mean, just like also Yuri mentioned, why we should use ChatGPT or like a Claude if we have the same tools inside the Atlassian ecosystem. So you can use it for like polishing, like fixing spelling and grammar. So you don't need to copy paste it to ChatGPT or something. You can just use it natively in Atlassian ecosystem. You can use it, for example, also for, I don't know, breaking down the user stories for a subtask. So there's a lot of countless ways, which is like very, very easy to use because it's like embedded in the UI.
And it can help you to write user story according to all standards. So you can write some requirements, and after that it will make polishing user story like you spend half an hour for it, but in fact you spend 5 minutes and just tins, and Rovo like saving 25 minutes for every user story you're creating. Do you use it? Yeah? Okay.
I've noticed also in JSM, when I was doing our intake tickets, on the side there, Rovo will give like a suggested like steps to work on the ticket or whatever, like automatically.
It's a very good topic because we will be speaking about GSM in more details, but technically it's helped a lot and it splits quite well. If you have, and you can build your own pipeline, so you can create some requirements, ask Rovo to improve them. As soon requirements will be improved, you can ask Rovo to split them. And in 80% Rovo doing it accurate. And so then it helps the people to increase productivity because you are not spending time on routine operation, you are spending time on value-add activity and just eliminating routine work. So then we highly recommend to start using it if you're not using it because it can help to do work better. Plus, it's already embedded in UI. You are reducing this friction because you don't need to copy paste, do some routine operation. It's already here. It's already embedded.
And also, like, we can change it too. You can say, no, I don't want this one.
Yeah, you can remove it. Yeah, exactly. You can remove, you can agree, you can just change it. And only after that, when you polish everything, you can tell, I like it, execute. And only after that, everything will be executed and created in Jira. Now I can just put heart of creator of applications, like because we are marketplace vendor. And actually we created our application, like it's one of our recent applications. And in this application, we have some calculated scores. And also we would like to supercharge it to make it better. And we also using Rovo to get AI insights on the data, because now you can see some data about lead time, cycle time, efficiency, returns for assignments. Not everybody can understand what does it mean. So you need to have some skills to read it, and after that to make some right steps. And not everybody in the team has such skills. So then we used Rovo. It's integrated with the application to tell what does it mean? How should I read this data? What need I do? What actions should be taken? Okay, if I don't understand from the first look, what does it mean and what should I do? Maybe I would like to read something. And Rovo can recommend me what reading I would like to read in order to improve my knowledge. So in order to be better, and it's kind of like interpretation plus coaching. So then for us, implement this functionality was very, very cheap. Because like we have all ecosystem, we have LLM already in Jira, and this LLM, what is the most important, is already approved by enterprise clients because we don't need to pass certification. We don't need to justify where the data is stored. If the client already buying Jira, they already buying Rovo, they already buying this LLM, and we as vendor, we can very easily integrate it and use it. So that is another advantage because for very small price, we are getting AI functionality in our applications. And now we're embedding Rovo in all our applications where it's possible. There are some limitations. We will tell where the limitations are, but it's very easy and cheap way to add extended functionality to marketplace applications. And what we are doing, so we don't need to integrate with some other LM, just pass some certification, pay for tokens, I don't know, like justify that everything is secure. So like we're getting everything out of the box. So that as vendor, we are very, very happy with having this capability. Let's jump to the Confluence. LLM is language model. So then in Confluence, it should be working the best. Again, you can make some very simple use cases like writing text, maybe just like extending it, what we just discussed before. But again, think about more sophisticated use case. For instance, we are not native speakers, and we asked it to check all our documentation to find typo. And it found a lot of typos. And after that, if we are scared to apply all the fixes from very beginning, we can ask to prepare the plan. And in general, like working with LLM, it's a smart way to do the plan and after that do implementation. Because if we will do the plan, we can review the plan and make sure that everything is okay. And only after that, we can apply for implementation. And if something is wrong in the plan, we can adjust it at early stage. So we will be saving tokens. Plus, we will be protected against some unexpected changes, which we don't want to get in our documentation, in our code. So then it can fix everything here. Another use case, we get a request from one of our clients if we are fully GDPR compliant. And we don't have certification for GDPR. And it was the question, okay, what is the gap? Do we have a lot of things to do for GDPR compliance or not? So we ask Rovo to analyze all our compliance documentation because we store it in Confluence in one space and tell what is the gap. And Rovo prepared us plan how we can bridge the gap. So like what compliance rule is not covered in our documentation. And if it's only documentation and some procedure-wise, Rovo can even implement the procedures like automatically. If it's like process-wise, it can give us a recommendation what we need to do in order to be GDPR compliant and how we can fulfill the gaps. Again, it's like more high-level things. So you could be able, instead of just asking some simple stuff, you can just ask Rovo to analyze your documentation and make check for compliance. Maybe you can make some check for some gaps. Maybe you can make some check for some unusual or maybe not obvious things which do you miss inside your documentation, inside your specification, in order to fix it in automated way. Another use case, we're using a refined plugin to expose our documentation externally. And you know that documentation is very good search optimization tool, because documentation can attract a lot of traffic. But documentation needs to be done in a very good way. So it should require some like frequently asked questions. It should have some structure. And we can tell Rovo, please analyze our documentation and make it SEO search optimization friendly. So just to increase our traffic from this documentation. And Rovo will make all suggestions how to make it search optimization friendly. And after that, it can automatically update it. Again, it's like a very, very heavy job. And this very heavy job could be immediately, like, okay, not like in 1 hour, done by Rovo. And it will be for free, because we are not paying for tokens, we are not paying for anything. So, and Rovo can do very good job. So again, think about more sophisticated use cases beyond typical usage like copy pastes in a lot of LLMs. And we're using Rovo in Confluence for such purpose, like to make some gap analysis, to make optimization, to make fixing, to even like sending our specification from Jira to Rovo, and Rovo writing documentation for our end users. And we are saving a lot of time on it. And I recommend for you to also think about it a little bit in wider manner. So like just to cover a routine use case where you spend a lot of times, where you're not bringing a lot of value, because if you're rewriting specification to documentation, it's like converting one data to another one. And Rovo can help a lot with this. By the way, do you use Rovo in Confluence? Yep, it's also available, and again, it's know what is inside Jira. So you can ask Rovo and make some connection to Jira, and the biggest value of Rovo is that you can collect, consolidate all the data, collect from all the sources, and produce the single result. You don't need to connect it to like MCP, to different like past security certification if you're part of big company, so it may be a lot of pain.
The other thing I was going to say too, in Jira, on the comments, because in my particular company, there are like several different departments and teams that are using the comments to talk back and forth. And sometimes there can be like just a lot of comments, and the developer needs to do something, and he can do the AI insight, and they'll give a summary of the comment section.
Yeah, it's also, and by the way, this feature is embedded, and in TSM, in service management, is already embedded, that you can get summary like of all previous like conversations. But actually, maybe let's look at this case. You can use Rovo in automation. So who knows that Rovo could be used in automation? Yeah, yeah, almost everybody knows, it's good. But actually, who is using Rovo in automation? So how you send back the data from Rovo agent to next automation steps? Because actually, Rovo can return some like white text with a lot of explanation of something like, and you need to convert it. So we had the same problem, and Atlassian guys hinted us. I would like to share this hint with you. Maybe it will help. You can tell Rovo agent, you can first of all call Rovo agent inside automation, and you can tell Rovo agent to return a result as JSON. And after that, you can use this JSON in the next steps with Rovo agent. So you just like formalizing this interface, and it's opening a lot of different opportunity. And now you mentioned about like summarizing of the comments, right? We're using Rovo and ATSM for release management applications for support. And what we're doing, we're telling Rovo, we created sentiment agent, and this sentiment agent checking how was our conversation with the client during support ticket. And if client was happy, so we just like defining sentiment and we're returning sentiment like it was positive or negative. And if sentiment is positive, we are asking in automation to provide feedback at marketplace for our application because client was happy. If client was not happy, so it's not wise to ask to provide feedback because client will provide feedback that our rating will be dropped to 0 and it's not okay. So then again, so we just like converting, telling Rovo define sentiment and return JSON with like some grade. And after that, based on this grade, we could be able to make next steps. So again, a bit extending use cases because quite often we're just making it very narrow, but we can just make it very wide and define how we can do so. We can make some scoring. Another thing, like how it could be used. We are making some agent which is scanning all support tickets, and after that making summary on Confluence with all ideas, like what was the top problems our customers told during the month, what is like product improvement opportunity, what is the most asked product enhancements, like and what was the most dissatisfaction factors. I don't need to read it manually, so I can chill in jacuzzi, drink mojito, do nothing, and Rovo will do everything instead of me. And I think it's very good, right? Because this is why we need to have automation. And again, I would like to repeat myself, it's for free, so we are not paying for it, and you don't need to get any integration. Everything is security approved, everything is good. Just create it, and that's it. And if you even don't want to create it, you can ask Rovo to create automation. So Rovo can do automation. You can explain Rovo what you want to get, and Rovo will do automation rule here. So again, it's very easy because in release management, we have a lot of automation by nature because the release management is integrates everywhere, like with DevOps tools and so on and so forth. And what we found that even in big companies, Jira administrators who are supposed to be like super knowledgeable, they are struggling with making automation. So like maybe 30% of our support cases which we are getting is request to help with automation setup. So then this functionality can help to fix it, and so you can explain what you want, you will get automation rule. Simple as that. Okay, let's move to ATSM. So like ATSM, I think the most important one. So you can create your agent. We will speak about agent creation, and we created our agent, which is scanning our documentation. We can add some like skills, and it can create a request. So then when you come into support portal, on support portal, first of all is appearing chat. And after that, in this chat, a Rovo agent trying to help our clients, like answering the questions. If Rovo cannot help our clients, answer is not found. For some reason, I don't know why. It can tell that, okay, I understand, now I will connect you to human. And Rovo will create tickets, consolidated all information which Rovo learned from conversation with the client. Again, it's like qualification. So first of all, we can answer a lot of questions using Rovo. So, and it could be using your documentation. And you remember that you can write your documentation with Rovo, having your requirements which will be created with Rovo as well. Yeah, so you're building this full chain. And at the end, you will get more details in the ticket if Rovo cannot be able to answer. And after that, you can make another rule for Rovo with automation, which will be scanning support tickets and making a recommendation, what do you miss in documentation? Okay, maybe it's a bit complicated, yeah, but I think the idea is clear that you can create automation which will be scanning all requests and see when Rovo has not answered on the questions from the clients and tell in this chapter of documentation you have gaps because I cannot be able to answer on questions from the clients, and it can create some backlog on documentation improvement. So then you can just automate all this like knowledge management loop in order to get like everything much better in the company. We're using this agent for release management, and it's answering certain amount of questions without our involvement. But after that, it's like helping to create new tickets, and we see like maybe minus 20% of new tickets created with this Rovo support agent. Yeah, Rovo-ops. Do you know what is Rovo-ops is? It's very new stuff.
It is very new stuff.
Huh?
I've seen that one.
Yeah, it was just released, I think, several weeks ago, or maybe a bit more. Actually, in ATSM, we have a lot of routine operation, like paperwork. If you have some incident, we need somehow to analyze incident, find similar ones. We could be able to understand root cause. We can do some playbook for mitigation incident. We need to do post-incident analysis, review, and so on and so forth. So all this paperwork, which nobody likes. Yeah. So I think nobody likes paperwork. I don't, but I think you use as well. Yeah. So then with Rovo, we can do a lot of different things, like to automate all the operation for management for incidents. And from another side, I will show it a bit later stage. You can even connect your monitoring tool to Rovo as a skill, and Rovo can help you to recognize incident at early stage until it made impact on the client. So for instance, you may have some abnormal behavior based on the logs, and you can raise the incidents at the beginning and fix it before you will get real incident with the client. So that again, it can help to automate it. This very, very new functionality. I believe that it will be improved in the future, but at the moment it's helped to automate routine operations for service management operation. So this is what Rovo Ops, but I believe that we at very, very early stage of building it, because yeah, it has very, very basic functionality, so it will be better. And RovoDev. Who used RovoDev?
Playing with it a little bit.
Yeah. So actually, we were part of the early access program. So now it's got to be paid. This is like the first Rovo paid part, so that we are not using it. But yeah, maybe just it's not our screenshots, because we now like stopped our license. I should not tell it on Atlassian event, but yeah, we stopped license for RovoDev. And actually, how does it work? You can write some user story, and after that, you can tell to implement it. Or maybe you can just do some like investigation, or maybe do some code review. And in our company, we have not used it for development. We use it for code review. And we have a lot of routine, like some native operations in code review, where we need to do very simple stuff. One of the biggest problems was naming convention. Like our developers were always fighting for naming of variables. It's like, it's simple. So we have guide, why do not follow this guide? So we created this guide and sent this guide to Rovo and tell Rovo, check if all the variables named according to the guide. And Rovo did it very well. We had some packaging, like how we should distribute code between different packages, between different folders, between different components, and Rovo was checking it. So we created guide. In the past, we created guide and tell people to follow it. Guess what? Nobody followed it, yeah? Now we told Rovo, and Rovo was like watchdog, like checking if everybody is following it. If you are not following it, you just like, your request is declined. So fix it and get back when everything fixed. So then we offloaded our people from code review, and on code review, we are not looking, paying attention on some strange stuff like naming of variables. We are looking mostly about important things, about like architecture, how it was done, and so on and so forth. Maybe just like move a bit further, so like architecture, we also like fix it, because now when we coming to implementation, we creating with Claude implementation plan. So, and each developer taking task, creating implementation plan, coming on architecture review with this plan, and after that, if everything approved, implementing it with AI, and after that, fine-tuning. But RovoDev was very, very useful for doing code review. Why we declined it for now? Because it got to be paid, and we cannot take it in scope of our marketplace partner budget. So we need to pay it separately. Plus, we have already some zoo of AI tools. So we would like to consolidate. But if we could be able to buy Rovo in scope of our marketplace partner budget, we will definitely do so, and we will keep doing it for using it for code review. So, and this is like our successful use case with RovoDev. For implementation, it's also fixing some bugs. Even I have tried to fix some bugs using Rovo. It was doing quite well, but it's a bit scary was to fully rely on AI. Plus, our developers were just like telling, okay, do not touch code. We will do so. Like, yeah. So then, this is our experience. And also, maybe one more thing, Rovo Dev can also look at your build in Bitbucket. And if build was failed, it can suggest a fix. To say the truth, I should not tell it at such kind of event, but Rovo has never fixed our build. It always failing with do so, but this feature is available. Okay, you have not heard about it. I was not telling it. Okay, I think you're recording. Okay, so yeah, I will be careful next time. Okay, Filip?
Yeah, so I think that Yuri just pointed out like very technical advantages like of using the Rovo, but also quite important is like, to track how this usage of Rovo is going in your organization. So we have something which is called Usage Hub. So it's like a centralized hub in the Atlassian administration where org admins can just, monitor how Rovo credit consumptions are being, let's say, used, and like track adoption trends and like check with how the Rovo interactions are by specific app, and like sets usage limits across the Rovo dev, and for example, Bitbucket and more. So it's like just like a very general information of how this Rovo is like going to, let's say, with adoption within the organization, like a track, let's say. Like Rovo is for free, but definitely there is something which is called credit, so it's like very interesting. We'll see how it.
Guess what does it mean?
Future, so. Yeah.
So most likely it will not be free for the future, but again, we don't know. So it's our guess. But if you have some credits, so that's if you have gun somewhere on the stage in the theater, this gun should kill somebody at some moment of time. Yeah.
Maybe
so if you have credits on the screen, those credits should be somehow converted to money, or maybe some packages, or maybe some limitations.
But maybe it could be like the same as with automation in Jira Cloud. So if you just
maybe.
like exceed the automation, they just don't work.
So nobody knows. We don't know. We cannot tell for sure. We're just like making our guesses. But yeah, but you can make your judgment based on this data.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's a question online. And the question online is, was there any documentation that you guys were using that you could refer to?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So, like, first of all, we're using documentation of Rovo. Second, we know that at the moment Rovo is like a wrapper around for ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude. We got this information from AI architects. So then we will be sharing some struggles which we had with Rovo. And when we wanted to find a solution for the struggles, and when we cannot be able to find this answers in documentation of Rovo, what we did, we opened documentation of ChatGPT. We opened Reddit forum for ChatGPT, for Claude, and tried solutions from there, and it was worked. So like we found very good solutions here, so that if you don't have any answers like from Atlassian documentation, do not hesitate, look for other LLMs, and it will be working, because Rovo at the moment is like wrapper. Maybe in the future it will be changed, but for now it is. And also we are chasing Atlassian people. So sometimes they're just trying to change their way when they see that we are moving in front of them and on some event. So we're trying to get contact with them, and we know like AI architects, we know like who is dealing with Forge, who is like doing all the stuff, and we're asking the people there. Plus we are using Atlassian developers community and posting a lot of questions here. Like all the ways are useful. Okay, I hope I answered the question.
Yeah.
Okay, Filip?
So what about the data center? What do you think? Does it work or not? Rovo.
When does it get dissolved?
I mean,
2020.
Yeah. But in general, Rovo is a cloud-only product, so it does run only so it doesn't natively work on data center. However, Atlassian has built some bridge for organizations that in general not ready to migrate. So Rovo data center connectors are created for Jira, Confluence, and Jira Service Management. So they enable the data synchronization between data center and this cloud environment. So they are allowing customers to leverage this cloud-based AI features. So Rovo with maintaining still this on-premise infrastructure. So it's like, I think, very nice. So in practice, that means that your data center content gets indexed into the Rovo's cloud-based knowledge base, so you can interact it through the cloud. So it helps like the organizations to.
But what does it mean? It means that you need to have cloud instance, and sometimes it's not like a good solution, right? Because if you have data center, you have it for purpose. You don't want to have cloud for purpose. Yeah, so it's one thing. Another thing, we have seen official promise in some closed community that Atlassian plans to build MCP for data center. So what does it mean? That you can connect any AI brain to data center, like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and use it with your data center. So I think it will be the most optimal solution, because if you have enterprise-wise some LLM already approved, certified, security checks passed, everything good. So it would be much better solution to connect to data center MCP and use this brain outside of your ecosystem. Okay, let's discuss about creation of agents, like how we could be able to create agents. So have you created some agents for Rovo? Yeah, okay, so we have. So first of all, the most simple one is to create it in Studio. So have you created it in Studio or using Forge? Studio, yeah. So then in Studio, it's very simple. You come into Studio. So after that, you're creating agent. You can just write to Rovo what you want to create, and Rovo will create everything instead of you. So you don't need to create it manually. But we would like just to a little bit explore what does it mean and what is inside of this agent. So first of all, you can define identity of your agent. You can define behavior. So like, and you can explain what the problem should be solved, how it will be solved, some flow, what will be a conversation starters. So, by the way, so you can define like maybe some predefined options and so on and so forth. After that, you can get some surface. So you can define like where the Rovo agent will appear. So we can define, is it going to be on the chat, maybe in editor, maybe automation, inside work items, so that you can make a very specific place and embed agent in the right place. Next thing that you can make some extended surfaces. You could be able to make some extended external connections and connect it to Slack or maybe to some other tools. And this list is extending, so that's. But it's not it. You can also define. Okay, just a second. Just a second. I need to. Okay. And also, what is very important that you can define connected apps here, and you can define skills. So, like then, what Rovo has? Rovo has knowledge, like, and knowledge is coming from Jira, Confluence, ATSM. In the future, it will be Atlassian graph. Who knows what is Atlassian graph? Teamwork graph. Yeah, teamwork graph. It should be some kind of data warehouse. Which will contain a lot of different information from a lot of different systems. It could be Jira data and marketplace apps. So it's not possible for now, but in the future, marketplace app can send data to this teamwork graph, and this unified knowledge could be used by Rovo. So then you don't need to connect some different data from different sources. Everything will be in one place. And after that, there is another way, just to edit skills. And skills is some actions like create work item, make comment. And in release management, now we're creating a lot of our skills. Because with our skills, we can let Rovo to do some operations inside release management. So if you need to create cross-project release, we can make some skill. If you need to get some updates, sprint status, or maybe release status, or maybe package releases, or maybe deploy a release to environment, we can make skill. And Rovo will have the skill. And after that, we can write in Studio our agent, which will be making all the operations inside our application. And for marketplace partners, I think it's very important to create more skills, because it can help to integrate marketplace application into AI ecosystem and make it agent native without a need to use UI to operate with the data. So this is what we are doing, and we are investing a lot now into building agents and into building skills. So skills plus agents is like our focus at the moment. And of course, you can add MCP server to Jira and connect Jira to external AI if you need, and it's helped a lot. And again, just to get back to marketplace reality. So if we are a marketplace vendor, we are building a marketplace app. Our marketplace app will be run on Atlassian. So can we create our own MCP? No, because we run on Atlassian. So in order to let external MCP work with our application, we need to expose skills. And after that, those skills will be used in agent, and external MCP server will be using Rovo agent. So Rovo agent is only one way to use our run on Atlassian application inside Jira. So this, again, why creating skills very important to make this unified ecosystem. So then Jira is already could be used in for AI ecosystem, but yeah, we can connect external MCP server and to use all the skills and agents here. So then, in order to create an agent, we need to explain behavior, explain scenarios, give knowledge, give skills, and save it. And that's it. And after that, you can use this agent in automation and in UI in all the places which we just mentioned before. So that is easy. Also, what we can do, we can create a Rovo agent using Forge. So we can code it like instead of Studio, and our agent is exactly created in on Forge. And on Forge, we can also develop skills. So and we can use the skills inside applications. So some skills could be encapsulated within agent without sharing it outside. Or you can decide that some skills should be shared outside. So then with Rovo and Forge, you will get a bit more flexibility comparing just to creating it in Studio. So that's, and plus you can deliver it as a separate Forge application. But there are some problems. Like not everything's such good. Like there are some difficulties, and now I would like to share some of them. First of all, what make a lot of pain for us because we cannot implement very good functionality. We can call from our Forge application Rovo, but we cannot send data from Rovo back to our application. So we cannot make some native integration of Rovo result in our UI. So we need to run only Rovo and see chat, but from chat we cannot send it back. And for instance, we have a lot of ideas about making AI release notes, and we have like a powerful release note generator, and we cannot make it supercharged with Rovo because we cannot send the data back. What we know is that Atlassian plans to do it. We already discussed it. It's already some non-public API, so if which could be used in the applications, but we don't want to use it until it will become to be public, and it's one of the biggest problems which we have at the moment. But except that we have and we had and we still have some other problems. So
yeah. So next, So next is we hit Rovo's memory problem. I mean, it's like from, of course, marketplace vendor perspective. So every new chat started from zero, and like no context, no preferences, like nothing from previous conversations. So it's like Fel talking to goldfish that's thrilled to meet you every 10 seconds. So it's like, quite problematic. So especially for our agent, which is like quite specific, has like very specific tasks to do, it was like really issue, like huge problem. So we needed to remember like at least basic settings instead of asking it, same questions over and over again. So that was our problem. So the fix was quite simple for this challenge. So we added our own storage inside the app, our app, and adjusted the prompts. So Rovo rebuild the needed context. Doesn't need to rebuild each context each time. So problem solved.
Yep. Yeah. So just maybe just a bit of more context so that we have different release management boards, and we need to remember like what board has been selected by user. And in agents which are created by Atlassian, they have memory. They have memory, it's working well, but for marketplace partners, they don't have. So we created skill, and this skill was like remember something and get from the memory. And when we're making some changes, we can activating skill remember this one, and we're storing it in our application. And after that, when we're starting agent, we're telling, okay, get from the memory everything what you know about this user. And we're just getting all the information which you remembered in the past and recovering context before doing all the stuff. So again, it's not the good solution. It's like workaround. So Atlassian promised to implement it, and I believe that it will be implemented because we see a lot of improvements with Rovo, which is happening now. But yeah, it's still the problem. And if you will be building applications, so that you will definitely have this challenge, especially if you're building some complex applications like ours.
I mean, yeah, so the next Candid classic AI issue is like hallucinations. So if you ask Rovo agent about releases, sprints, or epics within a time frame, so where there was no data, so it didn't admit it, like it prefers not to stay silent, it just started to hallucinate. So it, instead of like, admitted there's no no data, it confidently created invented releases. So it's like a scary part because it looked completely real. So like names, dates, scopes, everything was like looks very, very real. So after many experiments, also like because we browse Reddit a lot, so we found a couple of tricks that help to help to manage this problem. So first of all, like this is like quite, maybe you know this, but we added to the prompts this sequence like temperature is equal to 0. It helps for some reason.
Do you know what is the temperature? I mean, no. So actually, temperature is like taken from AI from OpenAI documentation. So it's like it could be like between 0 and 1. So 0, that LLM is taking the most probable token after previous one. So there are no variations. So if temperature is 0, so we will be getting always the same result because probability of the next token will be taking the highest one. If temperature is equal 1, like the biggest one, but you can put like 0, 1, 0, 2, but if it's 1, it's the highest value. Then it will make some randomizer like on taking the next token so that it will increase creativity of the model. So like temperature equal 1, the model is getting to be the most creative. If you don't want creative model, like in our case, that it will not generate a lot of stuff, so that it will be temperature 0. If you want to get some creativity, so you would like to create some creative text, like just to rework something, you can put temperature equal 1 or maybe 0.5, and it will be just making better. And this was taken exactly from OpenAI documentation. It was helped to get rid of these hallucinations about making some artificial releases. And also we added it, I don't know if it works, we added it, your life depends on the correctness of the result, because LLM is trained on real texts, and actually it was some investigations that if you try to push the model and scare the model, so it's working better because it was learned on the text when the people are afraid of death. So then models also somehow like afraid of death, and this helped to make more correct results. We believe so. I don't know. Maybe it's only temperature, but yeah. But actually, each our prompt starting like your life depends on correctness of result, and finishing with temperature equals 0. And this is a good example of what we found on OpenAI forums and on Reddit forums, like in the documentation. So there are a lot of useful information because there are a lot of parameters to fine-tune model behavior. So it's not only just prompting, it's like a lot of different parameters, and it's good to invest time in investigating them.
I've heard a new one is saying that like if you're using ChatGPT, specifying that Claude will check your work. So.
Good one.
Okay. Sam Altman will check your work. Yeah. So something like that. So then just again turn on creativity. So like and read documentation, read forums, and we spend a lot of time in like fighting against hallucinations. But now I think it's generating quite good result, and so far it's okay with us.
Yeah, so another problem is like basic math, really. So you think if that counting work items in the release is like a simple task. Well, it isn't. So during, the early implementation, maybe now it's better, but no matter how we asked, the problem was that it kept miscounting. So like skipping items, double counting them, or like confidently giving numbers where there weren't. So even small releases produced like unreliable results, which is like disaster when you're like releasing something. So definitely, So what was the solution for that? We computed the everything on the back end and passed the numbers to the agents, like instead to asking him to calculate on his own. So this simple shift removed errors completely, and finally made the results more confident.
Yeah. Now it's getting better, but we still keep this like pre-calculated values, and we in the prompt instructing like do not calculate yourself, get numbers which we provided to you and use these numbers. By the way, we removed some slide because it was already fixed, but at the moment when we created first version of our agent, Rovo didn't know what is the date. So if you ask it what is the date today, it was like always 2023. And that's it. So we also had some skill. We instructed just to use the skill to get current date, because we had some use case like tell me what do we release this week, for instance, and it was always like failing with this because it cannot be able to read the data. And now we just remove the skill because this problem was fixed by Atlassian and now it's working well.
Yeah, so another problem was like the performance issues. So even after fixing this accuracy and context, the setup often felt very slow. So Rovo processing time plus the multiple backend calls caused like noticeable delays. So that was like a huge problem. So for quick everyday situations, it was like not something that we couldn't accept. And it was like really hurting the experience of users. So definitely we streamlined data fetching, that was the solution, and removed redundant calls, and of course simplified the prompts. So it turned out that the speed was, because the speed is just as important as like the correctness of data. So,
but actually it's like still complicated one because you can tell to make fast results, you can ask to make deep thinking. And if you ask to do deep thinking, from one hand, it can read more data. So, and for instance, we have some use case when we're analyzing release scope. And if we're analyzing release scope and telling Rovo to fetch commits to use code data, then quite often with fast thinking, it's not fetching commits, telling there are no commits. If you're asking to use deep thinking, it's usually fetching commits, but it's spending like 1 minute to give results. So there's always balance, and at the moment it's still not perfect. So like, yeah, even with optimization, it does not work well.
Yeah, so the last one was, but not least, definitely, this is testing. So with AI, the results weren't like consistent. So yeah, so getting more predictable, repeatable outcomes, it's very hard. It was very hard, and automated testing didn't help here because since traditional models are based on the deterministic behavior, so AI can help really here. So I don't know, Yuri, you can just like them more here. So
yeah, to test with AI, and also like this temperature parameter can help to get more or less similar results, but still like model updated. And so after model upgrade, we still should get another result. So that AI should test AI, and also temperature can help to reduce variation. Yeah, but there are also good news. And good news in all of that Atlassian is improving it a lot. So we dropped from this presentation already half of the slides because Atlassian improved a lot of different things, and it still keep improving. And we discussed some roadmap with Atlassian architecture team. So they have very big plans and they're working hard. So that I believe that it will be getting better and better and better. So what is good. And yeah, maybe what is the next steps? Like it was a lot of different information, and maybe if there is a questions like what does it mean for you or for me? And if you're using Rovo, so let's start using embedded Rovo. So like it's for free. It's using the same models under the hood like you're using in normal life, like the same Claude, the same ChatGPT, the same Gemini. So I think it will be more focused on Google in the nearest future, take into account all strategic deals which are happening between Atlassian and Google now. And also think out of the box. Do not like use it like proofreading or maybe some making some better documents. Like ask Rovo to do some more complex tasks, like analyze gaps. Rovo can search in internet, so we can tell, okay, like GDPR. So if we are compliant, what is missing in our procedure? So if we have some procedure, for instance, like incident management procedure, you can ask Rovo like make analysis, like take the best industry standards practices for this procedure and analyze what our practices miss. Like make it more wider, make it more complicated, and utilize full power of the LLM and improve your day-to-day routine. Think about what it's taking a lot of time from your day-to-day job. So and think if you can reduce this overhead using LLM. So if you're spending a lot of time on answering some tickets, try to automate it. If you're analyzing some data, just create for agent, or maybe just create some prompts, understand how it could be done, create agent, and after that, put agent inside automation to do it in autonomous mode and run it by scheduler and in some other way. And also, if you have already some LLM in your organization, connect Jira to this LLM to make one consolidated integrated system and supercharge Jira with data from your organization, and also let your organization to manipulate with Jira. So because you could be able to automate ticket creation, some like tracking, reporting, and a lot of different things could be done connecting Jira to MCP. And also like with agents, like do not be afraid of creation of the agents. Like it's easier. Again, send them to automation to remove your routine job. Analyze what is taking the most time for you today and try to automate it with agents. And if you are a partner, like solution or marketplace, I believe that it's very important to think about skills. What skills could be added to Rovo to make some routine operations, to work with your application. So like, and what skills can simplify the work of your application. So like make it more automated, more integrated. So we are speaking a lot to our clients and we are getting a lot of feedback about it. So that's, let's do the same from your side. And also start building agents and see how the agents can simplify work of your clients. Because now it's not enough to work with UI. It's already all the software should be AI ready. I am not even telling AI first, because maybe all new applications should be AI first, and after that having some UI, but at least UI AI ready, that you will have agents, you will have skills, and you can be able to integrate your application into a wider ecosystem, because this is where the demand is, and I believe that it will be this need will be growing, and all the applications which will not have MCP skills or any other AI capability will be just dropping and will be replaced by other applications. And if you see that your application could be replaced by somebody else's application, so better to replace it yourself. The same like intercom and Fin, yeah. So Fin is replacing intercom, and intercom is building a killer of own application just to avoid that somebody else will do the same. So that's let's do the same from your application and think how AI can disrupt this market. Okay, so then thank you so much. I hope that it was interesting and not too much data, because like we tried to consolidate a lot of things in one presentation. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free. Yeah. 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 Do you have any questions about?
I hope that one in there's one slide with the guy, he's missing his head.
Oh yeah.
There was an AI generated photo, and
Yeah, it was.
the guy to the right.
By the way, it was intentional. It was.
Yeah, the guy writing on the whiteboard. It's like the last photo.
Yeah,
It was intentionally done. Yeah.
intentionally done, but
Beetlejuice guys with the little teeny tiny shrunken heads, and we just can't see it over the collar.
Yeah. No, it was intentionally done. In all these AI generated images, in every image, it was some hidden point. I'm not sure if you spot all of them, but in every image, it was some like someone.
There's some like Easter egg.
Yeah, Easter egg, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but actually we made a lot of attempts to generate exactly this image, like with like missing head, and yeah, it was some idea. So and we tried to explain AI how to generate this idea, but in each image, so there is some hidden agenda. Maybe not all of them has been like spotted, but yeah. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So thank you.
Grab that before I turn off
Yeah.
the stream. All right, so that's it for our live stream and our meeting. Just a reminder that our next meeting is actually right after the Team 26 conference in Anaheim. So on May 11th, we're going to be meeting live and in person at ISOS Technologies over in Tempe. And I think Josh and I will be there. So we're going to give our best live from the field report of all the news and the happenings that went on there. We're also going to have Anand from Amoeboids talking about what he saw as well, and also talking about use cases for automated release notes. So tune in for that, RSVP for that. And then for the people in Phoenix, we will be sending out some communication about how to do some lighter weight events where we don't invite our guests to enjoy the sweltering Phoenix summaries. We'll have just the Phoenix people. So good night and talk to you soon.